Hello, everybody. Let me wish you a happy Passover, a happy Easter, and a happy spring. I know there's still snow on the ground for a lot of you, but hope is alive. So today we're talking tech. And I know it's kind of a holiday. There are probably a lot of you on the road already, etc. But for those of you tuning in, where is tech in your lives? You know, I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, Moore's Law came up. Moore's Law meaning that now we've come into the computer age. Things are going to change exponentially. Instead of progress just going along as it does every 5 years, there's a new system. Now we're on an escalated scale. There are companies who cannot keep up with as soon as they spend millions of dollars to put in a whole new tech system. I just spoke for a company that is growing, and they're happy about it, very fast, but they're behind. Every 3 months, they have to put in a brand new system. And they can barely keep up. And so for those of us in our private lives, I mean, I know for me, I like to know what you guys are doing. I like to try to share some inspiration and what's going on in my life with you. So Facebook and, you know, clearly the website and, you know, not to mention what our phones can do, just incredibly these days, and that escalates all the time. But occasionally, I am one of those disgruntled tech people. Not only am I of my age, my era, and so it comes slowly to me. My buddy Gabby Fish is here, who is our resident tech expert and, you know, consultant for all kinds of things, both here and at Everwalk. And so, you know, Gabby's half my age, less, and, you know, leads me patiently through a lot of ins and outs. And I'd like to know more. And then there are lots of days, I bet I'm like you, and I say, I'm missing in looking into a friend's eyes and just talking. The two of us are sitting, you know, Bonnie and I will sit and watch a tennis match and we'll be down like this. You know, I'll see people driving their cars. Oh my gosh. You're barely looking at the road because we're addicted to our screens and our tech stuff. So I'm, you know, sort of reaching out there to see where you guys stand on this today. As you probably know, I've launched an initiative called Everwalk, and Bonnie and I are trying to, you know, grow a nation. We're just busting out with a new website this week, so I'm all excited about that. We're going down to Key West next week, Monday through Friday. Going to be walking all around the beautiful streets of Key West, which Bonnie and I got to know when we were training there for the Cuba swim. So we went a couple of weeks ago and we mapped out 5 10-mile walks to go by the beautiful scenery and the scenic places. And then in the afternoon, we're going to go up to Habitat for Humanity's area in the lower Keys, particularly Big Pine Key, that was hit hard by Hurricane Irma. Key West came through just fine. I shouldn't say that. There's some tree damage, some boat damage, but basically Key West wide open for business. The music and the restaurants and everything's ready to go in Key West. But in Big Pine, Marathon, they were hit hard. And so Marathon is Big Pine Habitat for Humanity is waiting for our little crew to come up and not only hammer some nails and paint some fences, but bring some awareness to the fact that they're still hurting, and they're going to be hurting for a while. Some 82% of the homes there were either wiped out or unable to rebuild. I'm always curious when, you know, the big, I know I'm getting off the subject for a second, I'm rambling, but when the big world disasters happened, the tsunami in Japan was how many years ago now? Well, we watch when a hurricane, an earthquake, a building collapses, the bridge collapsing in Miami the other day. We feel and we reach out. We write a check of some denomination to the Red Cross. We check online to see how people are doing, and then it quickly fades. It just fades out of the news. And those people like Big Pine, that hurricane happened in the fall, they're going to be years rebuilding there. Hurricane Katrina is still rebuilding. Puerto Rico, as we know, has been left without as much help as they should get. So I think it's important that we keep up. You know, we keep up with what everybody's doing out there. Gabby, we have anybody chiming in?
Yes, we do. On the technology side, Carrie Rose Packer says, sadly, you have to be on point with technology, unless you are my mom and refuse to touch a cell phone.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's the world we live in, right? You can move to the top of a mountain in Tibet and just, sit in the lotus position all day. And I'm not saying that sounds like such a bad idea. Or you can participate. I'm 68 years old, so like I said before, I didn't grow up even with a computer. I can't remember. I don't think I touched a computer till I was something like 45 years old, maybe even older. So all of it is not my language, but I want to be in the world. I want to be in today's world. And that's Gabby is my and Everwalk's main liaison to that world. But boy, it's a struggle. It's a steep learning curve, but that's a great phrase to say if you want to be on point, in the middle of, if you want to engage in this society, this world we're living in today, you got to have your tech chops going to some degree.
Robin Hideman said, would you live without your wearable tech?
For me, it's not so much about the wearable tech, but like my phone. I traded in my phone the other day. So I was about 6 little hours without my phone, without being able to, check email, check phone, get onto Facebook and Instagram and see what's going on. And it's not that I really needed to, right? Those 6 hours, I wasn't particularly waiting for a crucial call or some business that I had to tend to right away or it was going to be too late. It was just that it's a habit. It's gotten so bad. I have my phone by my bed. So if, a text comes in at 2:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, I hear it and I wake up to look at it. Why? I'm not a physician waiting for an emergency surgery call. There's nothing unless I'm in an emergency evening. Why do I do that? It's just simply an addiction. So I can live without my wearable tech, my walkable phone, but I guess not for long, not for too many hours at a time.
Joey Seymour says, I'm a social media manager for a large healthcare company, and this topic is so important to discuss. Even though social media is my job, I make sure to disconnect when I get home. We actually have a phone box. My husband and I put the phones in the box and spend time as a family with our son. Social media can become addictive and toxic. It's not going away, but restraint must be shown or else it becomes so overwhelming.
It's a really good point. And, especially you involved in, a modern world healthcare company, but people's health. And that includes socializing and talking with each other and listening. There's so many kids who, they're so used to multitasking. Talk about me not growing up in that, generation. These kids today are used to watching their phone while they're talking with their teacher, and so it's just, they can barely do one simple thing at a time that bores them. They're not used to it. And I hear you. I think that's the fantastic idea that your family shoves away their devices so that you can actually have dinner conversation together. Really good idea. And I know that we at Everwalk, we allow people to bring their cell phones on our walks. First of all, we want to stop and take pictures of the beautiful places of each other. And maybe you need to check in with a babysitter, a dog sitter, or something you got going on later. But we will not allow people to actually walk while they're listening or talking or texting. You got to stop. You're at a red light, or you go over there in the park and you do your device. It's dangerous. I forget the town in California, Gabby. Did you read the news this year? It's the first town, I think, in the country that has made it a pretty big fine to be walking while you're talking on your phone, not driving.
I probably shouldn't go there then.
No, you will not be allowed. You'll have a ticket before you even enter. But I will admit, I was going the day before the Saturday before Thanksgiving. There's a nice big walk here in LA. It's not Everwalks, but Everwalk participates in it. A great guy named Michael who works for NPR due to poor wireless.
It's going.
We're going. Sorry, I thought I had a technical glitch, but it wasn't. So the day, it was a Saturday before Thanksgiving, and stupidly, I was rushing to get there. Our group was there already, and I was talking on the phone, and I was on a road, not at a crosswalk, just everything you can do wrong, but there was no traffic coming my way this way, so I was just being careful of the traffic. I didn't notice that there was a, kind of a hump in the road. There was a median, but it wasn't really a curb. It was just a raised hump in the road. Well, my front foot hit that. I went flying through the air. This is now what? We're getting to be 4 months after that. I landed on my shoulder. I've still got a little bit of not quite 100% in my shoulder. I could have broken my face, my teeth, my nose, and that's the last day that I ever actually walk on streets while I'm holding my phone or looking at text. Just take a moment, and God forbid driving. So now we're kind of gotten into safety issues, but, back to health issues, clearly, what if we got to a point where we never talk to each other again? We just look at our screens and talk to each other that way. That's not the society we want to be.
Denise Oniskanich.
Hey, Denise. See you in Key West, baby. Yeah.
She said, no phone for me starting Saturday. Gonna be in the moment while in Key West.
Nice, Denise. I love that. So you can use my phone if you really want to. It's a good idea. There is that aspect of sharing, though. You guys, I'm sure, and the reason you're on the call today, read my note, and somebody wonderful, I'm going to forget your name right now, but somebody wonderful wrote in to say that in India, sharing, people, especially in the States, so far from home, it's one of the brilliant things about our modern technology is to go right there, FaceTime live, hold up your cell phone to someone and show just where you are. So my dear friend Marlene's mother had died. She couldn't go back to El Salvador. She's worked so hard to make a life here. She couldn't live her life there anymore. She's too, she's not in that life anymore. And she could watch her mother's funeral. She just on her little phone, she put it on the mantle of her house, and her cousins and her sisters, all her family talked to her. They knew she was there. They brought her in. She got all dressed up by herself here to be part of the funeral. And that just, it could make you cry. Now there's, as I said in the little blog the other day, what a good use of technology that is. So Denise, I hear you though. Let's get in the moment in Key West, and that doesn't mean we won't do a few selfies, and we won't do a few Facebook Lives, because we want to share our experience too. But you packing yours away, I admire it. We're going to have a ball down there. You know that? I don't know about you guys, but if you've worked for Habitat for Humanity, I've wanted to. I've admired that organization, all my adult life. I've always wanted to work for them. So now to be in our heart place, the Florida Keys, and help just a little bit that week and put the word out that they could use more help, it's going to mean a lot. It's going to be fantastic.
Speaking of which, Barbara and Steve are already on the road on their way.
Yeah!
They're on their way to Miami right now.
Oh, and Barbara and Steve, I assume whoever's driving is not the one working on...
She said Steve has his eyes on the road.
There you go. Steve is driving. Steve is a guy, by the way, who worked for more than 20 years in the Coast Guard, served, I should say, and thank you for that service, Steve. I met Steve in New England, and then he came on the New England walk. Barbara has walked with us all over creation. She walked California, she walked New England, and now those two guys are coming down to Key West. And Barbara, thank you. I love it the other day. Most people are flying in, but Barbara wrote us and said, well, we're driving down. You want us to throw in a couple of coolers, a few beach blankets. Maybe the whole group will go to the beach and have a little bonfire cocktail party. Are they packed? Write me back right now and tell me if you're bringing the ice chest and the blankets. Thanks for that. You guys be careful. I can't wait to be with you.
Back on the tech subject, Carolyn Rice says, I never have my cell phone by my bed. I sometimes even forget to carry it with me. I'm not attached to my phone, and my family thinks I'm just avoiding their calls. What is actually true is that I just don't need to have my phone with me 24/7. Sometimes I go for days at a time before I actually look at the phone. They all know this now and just call the house phone and leave a message if it's urgent.
Yeah, Carolyn, I like it. So you're at that point, and you know what? You're inspiring me to get to that point. A couple of you today is that you use your phone. You use your stuff, your devices. It's helpful for you in your life, but you don't let it rule your life. And I think that I'm going to make a commitment right here today and say that unless there's something urgent happening for me that between midnight and 5:30 a.m., I've got to be ready to answer my phone. I'm going to put it away. I'm going to turn it off and leave it downstairs and not have it. At least that's I know that's a small commitment. It's only 5 hours a day. I still got that phone a lot of other hours. But thank you all for that. And Carolyn, I think I'm gonna push back just a tiny bit.
Barbara says blankets and coolers are in the car.
Blankets and coolers. I bet you all are getting a little jealous about the Key West trip at this point, I'm sure. And we'll be Facebook Living on the Facebook Live, by the way. So it's Facebook.
Repeat that.
Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for checking in today. I think the basic summary was tech is good. We need tech in our lives. Tech can be too much, and we should keep it, at a little bit of a distance, at least a few hours a day. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and check us out down in Key West. Follow us. Bye.